Hello and welcome to the Cranky Old Gamer. Today we're going to be looking at a game that I picked up on a discount and I was really excited to get to the table. Once we finally got to the table, got the group playing, everybody kind of getting pitched in and kind of getting their opinions, I'm really glad I picked it up on a discount. The game is City of Horror. I love the description. If you read the back of the box, in City of Horror, you take on the roles of the last survivors of a city attacked by a horde of zombies. Okay, it's a zombie game. Some people feel that market is flooded. I like it. I like zombie games. I like Cthulhu games. Sue me. Organize yourselves, share weapons, but most importantly, be ready to do anything to survive. This is a game of survival and negotiation. Okay, cool. I was anticipating something like a more, judging by the art style, a little more light-hearted Dead of Winter maybe. And what it is, you have a large board and you are able to move around different stations on the board, similar to Dead of Winter, and there's a voting system in place. If I have two characters at the bank and you have one character and there is an item card there, we can vote. Much like Dead of Winter, there are a bevy of characters that you can draw at the start of the game, and certain characters get less votes or more votes or have abilities to give them votes, which, all right, that's cool. Every character has some kind of ability. It may not always be useful, but sometimes it is. And when you have that ability, you flip that character card over and it shows that they are exhausted. Now there are ways to rest. You can go to the church and be rested. You can get an energy drink. There's a couple of ways that you can get to use your ability again. But for the most part, your ability is kind of a one-shot deal. We thought the funniest one, hands down, was the pregnant lady. The pregnant lady's ability is one time she can give birth for a second vote. So basically, we're trying to decide who dies, who gets fed to the zombies, and she just goes, meh, meh, I vote mommy. What the hell? The rules specifically state that you cannot rest her again, so she can't get knocked up and give birth in the next hour. And it actually does say in the rules, the pregnant woman gives birth. That baby's not old enough to vote. What are you talking about? So again, with the voting, this doesn't just apply to weapons and pickups. This applies to zombies. If there are enough zombies at a location to trigger an attack, somebody dies. Where the only way to fend off a zombie attack is to feed it a person. I liked that. I heard that about the game. I was like, oh, I gotta play this. And you feed them a person, but you have to vote. So if there's 4 players at a location, and one of those players has kind of been a jerk to the other players, those other 3 can be like, I vote them. That's my vote. Yep, me too. I vote them, that person. And they get eaten. Each character has a certain point total, whether they are rested or exhausted. And at the end of the game, when the helicopter comes to pick you all up, whoever has the most surviving characters and the most points is the winner of the game. Now, the game plays over the course of 4 hours, meaning 4 rounds. We kind of felt like this wasn't enough. Like, I know it's a game of survival, but it just kind of felt like rushed. I don't know. 4 turns didn't really seem like enough, but I think the game wasn't fun enough to want more. The game was not... It's not bad. It's just there's a lot of ideas that don't seem to mesh very well. One of the things we really did not like is... I like the use of distinct icons. That's great, but when you have so many icons that the character cards themselves, if you look, don't have their abilities. They just have an icon. Well, there's a lot of different abilities. You have to refer to the rules every time. I mean, unless you've been playing this game so long that you've got them removed, it's like, the hell does that symbol mean? What that means... Oh, that means I can do this. Okay. Now there is also a deck of item cards, and honestly all the items do is the same thing as your abilities for the most part. There are also a couple of items that can blow things up, a couple items that can kill zombies, which is very helpful, and that can get you votes. You know what? Oh, I want that item. Vote for me. I'll pick off these zombies for you. Okay, that's cool. So there is quite a bit of negotiation, but the game happens so fast in over 4 rounds that we felt it really almost never came into play, and by the time it did, things had already kind of gotten so cutthroat that, So over the course of these 4 hours, the way the game is basically played is you have these tiny little movement cards. I hate little cards. They drive me crazy. Zombicide uses them. A couple other games, X-Wing uses them. They're like little bitty cards. Each of you gets a deck of these according to your color, and you plan your movements before the actual round. You go around, you have to move at least one character. You don't have to move all your characters. If you want to camp in the bank, you're good. So the way each round is played, you start with your little cards and you secretly choose your movement at the beginning of the round. You do have to move at least one character, but the rest of them you don't need to move. It's just kind of to keep people from camping in the same spot, since you can't really oust another character. So you have to move at least one person, and when the time comes to reveal, you each go around and reveal one movement. If you choose to move to the church from the bank, but, you know, Jenny over here decided before you that she was going to move from the hospital to the church, and there's no room at the church, you have to go to the center of the board, which is called the crossroads. The crossroads is, it's one of those mechanics, like, I get it, I don't know, the crossroads didn't really sit well with us. The crossroads works differently from any other area in the game. And when you're in the crossroads, there are zombies there, and even if there's one, it attacks, and it's the zombie leader. There is this weird little wheel that determines who the zombie attacks. There's no voting in the crossroads. It's just, hey, zombies on red. If there's a red character, the red character dies. If there's no red character, you go along the wheel clockwise until you find the next color that there is. Oh, well, there is a green character. Green's next. Bye-bye, green. It didn't... The crossroad never gelled with us. There's food in the crossroad that you can spend cards to pick up. That was another thing we really didn't like. These item cards, there's really not many in the game. Like, you will go through the entire deck. We played a 4-player game. We went through the whole deck pretty fast. These aren't just your items, they're your currency. Like, to do anything in the game, to pick up a syringe from the hospital, to pick up food in the crossroads, you have to discard a card, and that just... I get that they were trying to add like a level of some kind of strategy, like, oh, this is a useful card, but this could be a useful item, what do you want to do? It didn't sit well with us. We really did not like that mechanic at all. Especially because there are these little syringes that you have to have. You have to have them. Like, say you make it miraculously through the game with all 4 characters. If you don't have 4 syringes, they don't matter. You have to have 1 syringe for every character you have at the end of the game. And again, you have to spend cards. I mean, there's other ways you can negotiate for them, like, hey, give me one of your extra syringes and I'll give you my vote. Okay. But using these cards as currency just didn't really sit well with us. Not that there was any other way. I kind of wish you could just pick them up. Like, I wish you could just pick them up in the game, like drop that whole rule and just use the voting system. I think that would have been best. It's not my game. I didn't make it. So in the end, if you don't have as many syringes as you do characters, you have to pick and choose. Hey, this one's exhausted. Screw him. He's dead. I do want to talk about the presentation of the game. I really did kind of like it. Let's take a look. I'm going to show you the board here real quick. All right, so this is the board. I'm actually not sure that I'm going to be able to fit this entire thing on the camera without changing my vantage point. You have the crossroads, You put it at an angle. And it plays out like this. All right, so as I said, I wasn't sure if I could get the whole thing. I'm gonna try to move my camera here. So you can see most of the board. It's a huge board, it takes up most of the table. Another thing that's almost cool is your water tower. Water tower goes up here. It's an actual three-dimensional, fold it together cardboard thing that you place here and put your characters on top of. The only problem is it's wobbly. The cardboard doesn't cut right. I think that's kind of cool. You put your characters on top. Now, there are a couple other things. If you look at the bank here, you'll see there are white squares. There's also a hard version. There's also white squares. This tells you what you can do. Each area has its own ability. The bank, you can spend one card to move the color of the lead zombie in the crossroads. If there are 3 or more zombies, there is a zombie attack. Hospital allows you to buy syringes. If there's more zombies than there are people, then the zombies attack. Now, here's the one that kind of irritates me. Now you'll see this. Only the armory and the water tower have this, and I don't get why. There are things like explosives and Molotov cocktails that will kill large amounts of zombies, but they make you place an explosion token. If this becomes full, this area explodes and it's no longer usable for the game. You'll see here, if it explodes, all characters are moved to the crossroads. Now, okay, that sucks. How come you can't blow up the hospital, the church, the bank? I would almost rather have less explosion tokens, more spread out, than all of them in one. Now, there is a little bit of strategy here, and it's actually one that we used. The water tower, as I said, has it too. But the water tower, if it blows up, all of the zombies and all of the people die. Anything that is on the water tower, gone. So we had a couple people that had abilities that allowed us to move zombies to anywhere we wanted. The funny thing is, it's a kitten. We moved all the zombies to the water tower and then nuked it. Boom, bunch of zombies dead. Awesome, cool. So that's basically your board. A couple of the other components. I'm not going to put them all together for this, but the zombies are all cardboard stand-ups, as are all of your characters. You find one for each character. And then there's an assortment of explosion tokens and syringes and the food that you find at the crossroads that are worth anywhere from 1 to, I believe, 3 victory points. So there you have that. Peg stands for all of your characters are color-coded so you know who's who. And there's your components of the game. So there you have City of Horror in a nutshell. A lot of really good ideas here, just poorly executed. We kind of felt like most of the rules were kind of slapped together, like they didn't all work in conjunction with each other. At the end of the day, like I said, we played a 4-player game. 3 of us kind of agreed that we were like, if somebody else chose it, I'd play it, but I would never choose to play this game. The 4th person just flat out said, nah, I don't ever want to play this game again. This is stupid. So a solid B+ for the presentation, the components, the board, all that. But yeah, the rest of the game, I paid $12 for one playthrough of the game, and I would really be surprised if we ever play this again. So, yeah. So take that with it if you ever see it on deep sale. Like I said, it went on sale for $12 at Cool Stuff Inc. on a flash sale. You could pretty much pass this one up, unless you're like really into zombies. All right, guys, thank y'all for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed my videos. Please check out my website, thecrankyoldgamer.com. Every video, I'm like, wait, move, because I'm still getting used to having a real camera instead of using my phone. So please check out thecrankyoldgamer.com. Check out my Instagram. I am pretty active on there. It's just The Cranky Old Gamer. And if you like my videos and you want to help them get better, I have lots of ideas that I just don't have the funds to put forth. Like, I would love to do, I watch a lot of other reviewers. I'd love to do like sketches and stuff like that. But I don't have money for props, stuff like that. How many times can I say stuff like that in one video? If you like my videos, please consider contributing to my Patreon. It's at the end of the video after the credits. All right, once again, guys, this has been City of Horror. See you later.